Today we are talking overcoming imposter syndrome with Ezeogu Emeka, the head of Academy and Coaching Service at Olusola Lanre Academy. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure having you here, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here again.
So I asked you this before we started, but for the benefit of everybody who's viewing, what exactly is imposter syndrome? Yeah,
it's that feeling. Most professionals have them. When you feel inadequate, when you feel like you're not good enough to do what you're doing, and you're always expecting that at some point you'll be caught as a fraud, the rug will pull up from under you, and people will discover that, yeah, this person don't quite know what he or she's doing. Wow. So you live in that constant fear of being caught.
Yeah, but doesn't that happen to everybody? I mean, even if no matter how confident or professional you are, you do still seem, and maybe I'm saying this from experience personally, because I do believe now after you've explained that at one point or the other, maybe in this career or the others, I have thought myself as, am I doing this thing the right way? What exactly is responsible?
So in a way, it happens. For some people, it's extreme. In fact, they don't ever get to start. They don't ever get to believe in themselves. It's almost like they're coasting, right? And so they're not 100% committed. They doubt their performance, doubt their capabilities. All right. When it comes to this syndrome, there are two kinds of people. Well, not extremely, but yeah, there are two kinds. There are the perfectionists, right? Perfectionists come into this with the fact that they have this notion that, look, if I can't do it perfectly, then I can't do it at all. Right.
So I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
Exactly. So imposters that come from that sect are quite terrible. Theirs is that they don't ever get to start.
Wow.
And every time they start, they're looking at everybody else, and then sub-performing, underperforming, just comparing themselves with everybody else that's playing differently.
Which is very strange, because it's not because you're not good enough. It is actually because you perhaps are even very good at it and cannot afford failure.
In fact.
So you don't want to dent your image or try at all, so you're not going to get started.
Sometimes that perfectionist streak is in itself a killer, because it's not completely right. Perfection is not possible.
Yeah.
Perfection is not. It's a trap. Yeah. And no one ever beats it. Yeah. And if you keep carrying that notion, you will not be able to make the level of progress. I said there are two kinds.
Yeah.
There is the other one. Those ones have low sense of self-worth. So these ones are worse. They could have all the qualification in life. They could have everything required to do that and still not trust themselves, because they have a sense of self, right, that is inadequate, that it's deep in them, their concept, their self-concept there, that they keep revealing is that person that is not good enough, that person that is not enough, and it colors their output.
What's responsible for that low self-esteem? Yeah.
So again, it's the self-talk, the self-language and perception. For example, let's take the person who says, I need to be perfect to do this, and don't ever get to start. The very fact that the person misses is that all you need to start is basic qualification. Everybody starts with basic. And once you have that basic, you're qualified. Right? So when an imposter syndrome begins to spring up, and you check and you're like, yeah, I have what it takes to start, then I can move to the next level in this dialogue, because it's all self-talk.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome is all self-talk. The next level is, okay, can I continually get better? Can I incrementally get better?
Can I give myself a chance?
Exactly. Now, once I can tell myself that and I accept it, and I accept the fact that, look, there is no one person that is a master in any particular field, that he holds the entire body of knowledge in that field. Professors get checked by small boys who are just coming up, who discover one or two things that expounds their entire industry. Heck, even Google would still, Google leverages everybody's intelligence, so to speak, but you still search for things, and Google will ask you, do you mean? So is Google telling you, I don't have this, but look, I have that. Can you check that? So if a system that leverages people's intelligence can't even completely own knowledge, nobody can. So you come into an industry, come into a field, come into a place with basic knowledge, and then you tell yourself, I'm going to continue to grow. And then every time my ignorance is revealed, I would get the knowledge that ignorance has exposed. Because we have a negative relationship with the word ignorance. We think it's bad, but ignorance means you don't know.
Yeah.
And And yes, you cannot always know. So ignorance
True.
is not a bad word. Every time your ignorance is revealed, knowledge, your chance to get knowledge is
Opening the door for more to be learned.
So instead of carrying an imposter syndrome because you feel I don't know, you tell yourself every time I stumble on something I don't know in this field, in this industry, I'm going to learn that thing.
Oh, very interesting. But does one's environment have any factor, play any factor in people having this imposter syndrome? For instance, how you grew up, could that be a factor?
Yeah.
Or maybe something traumatic that's happened to you?
Yeah, one, environment really impacts that. If you live in a very,
sheltered?
Not sheltered, really. If you grew up in a place where you're always compared with people, right? Where, especially when you have siblings that some are supposedly
that brings
smarter.
To the fore the responsibilities of parents now.
Yeah. And they keep comparing you with this guy or some family friends' kids. Exactly. Yeah.
Kind of
and then you keep measuring your performance, your expertise, or your intelligence by other people's yardstick. And the truth is, every time you do that, you always fall short.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for parents, noticing that this could also be the path they're building for their children?
The best thing a parent can do for a child is help them grow by themselves.
By themselves?
Yeah, help
at their own pace,
At their own pace. Once you understand how your child is growing, shut everything else away from him. I mean, every other external comparison away from him. Help him grow in that place. Trust him. And you know, when it comes to not having imposter syndrome, the level of confidence people had put in you, your primary caregivers had put in you, goes a long way. They teach you to trust what you have, trust your thought. You know, the average Nigerian student is taught to own his teacher's thought. So you go to some schools, and even at the university level, some lecturers will tell you that, look, give me exactly what I gave to you. So I'm not teaching you to think. The best kind of parenting now is the one that teaches the child to think.
Explore.
Yeah, trust their thoughts. And then, explore. And in that way, they build a lot of confidence in themselves. They trust their process. They understand, look, I might not know a lot of things, but I'm going to keep learning, keep developing, keep getting better. And if I can always do this, then there is no industry I can stay in. Okay. There's no industry I can rise to the very top at. And even when I get to the very top, I'll still keep learning.
Okay. So two things. First off, real quick. So I've just listened to you today, and I've just realized that I perhaps have imposter syndrome. What's the one very simplest thing that I should do now that I've noted?
The simplest thing is every time it comes up, remind yourself, I'm a learner.
I'm a learner, huh?
I'm a learner. Even if I feel like I'm a professional here, there's still a lot to learn. And every time I get a chance to learn, instead of me telling myself I don't know, I'll tell myself I will learn.
Embrace it, basically.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, man. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Your motivation is always hits the spot. Let me put that. And it's well placed for a Monday, so you guys can actually start your weeks with that motivation. And hopefully it's going to help you in your endeavors throughout the week and maybe even throughout your life. Thank you once again, and thank you for viewing. Do stay tuned. We've got more coming your way inside of Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Mazino Appeal.